Hey Luke, this is Keaton Everett with ABC, going over your pitching video from camp. We're going to go through and talk a little bit about your delivery and kind of break it down into a few key spots and just kind of talk about, how we can maximize our lower half, how we can make ourselves consistent, how are we getting ourselves in a healthy position to throw the ball. All right, basically, with mechanics and pitching, and we want to be consistent. We want to be able to repeat our mechanics. We want to be able to use our lower half to generate power and velocity, and we want to make sure that we're finishing out over our front foot and using that mound to drive the ball towards the plate and not push the ball. So we'll just kind of go through and talk a little bit and break it down. So the first spot we look at is how are we starting? How we start dictates a lot of how we're going to finish. All right. Basically, we want to be nice and balanced. We want to be on the balls of our feet. We don't want to be flat-footed. All right, so right off the bat, okay, this setup here, I like that your hands are down. All right, what I'd like to see here is a little bit more athletic stance, meaning I just want this front foot brought down a little bit. If you kind of think about what's the most balanced position, are you most balanced with your feet together, or are you most balanced with your feet, a little bit narrower than shoulder width? Just get that foot out there a little bit, but keep this head over this back foot. So you're doing that well. We always want to have that weight loaded up on that back side, so just make sure that you're still doing that, and just kick that leg out a little bit farther so you're a little bit more balanced. All right, so we're going to watch through this leg kick. All right, one of the things that causes a lot of inconsistencies is to start forward once you lift your foot. All right, so we're going to draw a box here. So watch what happens as you're going forward. All right, so you're seeing how you're dropping and your body's going forward as you lift. All right, all this does is this causes inconsistencies of where these hands are going to break. So it's really hard to time if your body's going forward right off the bat. If you're dropping down, where to time that ball out of the glove. That's the key of consistency, is breaking the hands at the same point every time over the rubber, breaking the hands at the same point. So what I want to see you here is to stay loaded on this backside all the way through your leg lift. All right, so at the highest point of your leg lift, you're still over this back leg. There can be a little bit of movement forward. All right, but with you, your head's still staying over this back foot, but it's your lower half that's going forward. So you can see how it's you kind of sink those hips forward. So we want to see head back here. All right, staying over that back leg. All right, you're going to stay a little bit taller, and then you're going to be able to get this leg and this hip back over this back foot, get your hips in position to get you going forward. All right, so that one of the things that you kind of work on there is just get balanced, come set, get balanced, and then lift that leg up and hold that balanced position. Just find that balanced position and then start your mechanics forward. Just do that a couple times, and then you can kind of start syncing them up and get a little more fluid with them. So that's just one thing that's going to be, it just causes a whole lot of inconsistencies, is rushing forward. That's basically your rushing. All right, so once you can sit back a little bit more, all right, get those legs involved. Another thing that rushing's going to do is you can see that this knee is going to start swinging open. All right, you can kind of see it swing open. This foot's kind of popping out. While we're staying back, we're going to be able to keep this position where our hips are going to continue to lead down the hill. We're going to get to about here, and our knee still hasn't popped open yet. It's still going to be kind of lagging down a little bit, and we're going to be able to just utilize that lower half and just drive straight towards the target instead of kind of kick open. All right, and then you're going to see with your rushing is the next point we look at is that foot strike. All right, so when does that front foot first hit the ground? And I think it's right here, about right here. All right, so this position, you're just a little bit ahead of yourself. We like to see you kind of still loaded back a little bit more over that back hip. Alright, but one of the things that you're going to see is that you just can't get the torque in your lower half. Alright, torque is, we want this lower half, these hips, to start turning before that upper body's going. Alright, so you're going to see that upper body back in this position here. That front side hasn't turned yet. Alright, so it's just almost like your hips and your shoulders are turning at the same time, but we want to see the hip go first and then that upper body. Alright, so that'll just be something that'll be easier as you stand back, stand over that back side a little bit longer through delivery. And we're going to go back and look at your arm path too. It gets up a little bit too straight right here. Alright, in this position, we always look at this angle right here. Alright, that's just kind of showing me that your arm's kind of having to rush through everything. Usually we like to try to see a little bit less of an angle, you know, somewhere right around 90 degrees. Because if you think about, if you're holding your arm straight out, if you lay it down on a table and flex and extend it completely straight, you have someone push against the inside part of your wrist, you know, is it going to be easier to, are you going to be stronger pushing it back against them with your arm completely straight, or are you going to be stronger pushing back them with your arm kind of bent at a little bit more of an angle? And it's just, you're just able to use more muscles, and you're just able to decrease the load on that elbow if it's kind of angled back a little bit more. So we're not trying to get it back to here, because then that gets it weak. You know, the strongest angle is right around 90 degrees. So we just need to get that arm going a little bit quicker forward, instead of that rush, is that it just kind of has to kind of rush through, and it really just doesn't have time to get up on top of the ball. So that's just kind of, you know, you're just rushing that backside, and you just can't get up on top. All right, so that's something that, I mean, so much is if you clean up, stand back, and not rushing, everything else is gonna come real easy, and then you're gonna see yourself through release, staying through that back side longer. We're going to want to see that back foot still on the ground, dragging. You're just staying through it more. You're getting pretty good out over that front foot. You know, we like to see that head somewhere back over here, that head and chest, really driving that ball out front. So the more you can stay in that back leg and drive over that front foot, the closer you're going to release the ball to the plate, the more velocity you're going to have, the more angle you're going to have. But I mean, you're doing pretty good at getting over that front foot, but you're just going to see yourself at this position. You know, you're going to have a little bit more bend in your back. You're going to have this foot up a little bit higher, because you're just being more explosive with everything. You're using that lower half. You're driving that front, your upper body over that front foot. That leg's kicking up, and you're falling through instead of just kind of that leg barely swinging up, and you're seeing that glove kind of fall back. So really, the most important thing is just to work on your initial setup. Come set your feet a little bit wider apart, and just work on getting to that balance position. Lift that leg up and get to that balance position. Lift that leg up, get to that balance position. Get to that balance position, break your hands, and then feel the hips drive down the hill. We want those hips to lead everything, and then really feel that back foot drive all the way through your big toe, and just feel that foot driving as you're releasing the ball and not lifting off early. And you know, that's going to help you out a whole bunch. So hopefully you had a great time at camp. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully you're having a great season this year, and we look forward to seeing you with ABC.